It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, happy birthday, Dr. Obiaju. How you doing?
Excellent morning,
looking very nice and party mood right
now. It's my birthday.
Hey, happy
There's
birthday.
no party. Let me look nice on the show and then go home and sleep.
Look very nice.
But I'm grateful to God for life. Thank you, darling. I'm grateful to God for life, for His blessings. This morning, as I was meditating, I was just casting my mind back to 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and I'm saying, oh, some of the things that I wished for, it was just in my head as a wish. I'm already living the life, and it's very important that you're grateful, because when you're making all those wishes, sometimes it may come to pass. They say, be careful what you wish for. It comes to pass, and you forget that there was a time you were wishing for this life, and now I have this life. I need to remember to be thankful that it was a part of my prayer point at some point. Now I'm living the prayer point. I have to always be thankful. I'm grateful to God. My mom just called me this morning with blessings, prayer, vision as usual, and all that. I'm really, really grateful. That's and I saw my dad this weekend.
Oh yes, she said so that you're traveling.
To Asaba in like over 6 years.
Did you cook for him?
No, I didn't cook.
You
You
were a guest.
Yeah, I was a guest, but I was a guest that hosted him. But I didn't cook.
That's nice.
It was
good to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, hello, how was Doha? You traveled for the week?
Yeah, it was.
How was your trip?
It was beautiful. I will talk about my trip tomorrow, but I'm talking about BC today.
Thank you.
BC has crossed many career paths, and she's blazing a trail of, I'm not going to be held back by whatever society is saying, this is what you should do. I'm not going to conform. So we know BC, maybe some people that are watching don't know BC the rapper, or BC that was singing, or you might know BC the actress, or BC the fashionista. My hair is from BC. I think almost everybody's hair here is from BC. But we bought clothes from BC. She's doing oils, she's doing granola, and the truth is, somebody is watching and thinking, it's not normal, but the point is, some people can do this, and if you have the hunger to do it, do it. BC has given you the perfect permission, precedence right here to do it, so continue to shine.
You know, when you're talking, I just remember, my mom was a very successful businesswoman. She sold salt. I didn't even know she did poultry until many years after. She told me she did poultry. She sold wine. She's done sugar. She's done flour. She's done
she loved me.
And she was enjoying the business. So she didn't like the fact that I wasn't doing into business, but she was a full businesswoman. So that's why she loved
me.
Everything.
She would pray for me.
She loved the fact that you're just doing so many things. So that's the kind of person you are. Well done. How are you doing, Mariam?
Good. I'm doing fine. It's BC's birthday, and I think a lot of people see BC that Dr. has described, but I think
the Queen Bee herself. As I posted today, Queen Bee today, happy birthday. We love you, and I love your versatility. I do. It's inspiring to me, and I think I'm one of the most blessed ladies in Nigeria because I am so inspired by lots of women on the show. Their daily breakthroughs. You guys inspire me daily. And I feel the energy, and I'm happy that we don't put each other under pressure. Everybody's on their own lane, and you're doing it at your own pace, and that is fantastic. So well done. I'm happy for you. Enjoy your day. I hope a guy is taking you out tonight.
I don't know.
Because you cannot dress like this and not go somewhere. Please, somewhere something must happen. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the papers. If we can find them, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Banks. NPC fixes May 3rd for population census. NAFDAC alert on recalled eye drop. APC clears Uzodimma, Sylvia, Lion, Adeyemi for primaries. And why I dropped my ambition by Faleke. All All right, which story are we starting with?
I'll start with the PDP National Chairman, Dr. Iyorchia Ayu, who is under pressure to quit because, of course, the crisis that we're aware of that's hit their party. So yesterday, they said he was suspended by the executive committee of his native ward in Boko local government area of Benue State. Vote of no confidence was passed on him. The PDP Deputy National Chairman, Ambassador Taofeek Arapaja, also said that Ayu should resign so that he can pave the way for rebuilding the party ahead of the 2027 elections. As we also know, Wiki has constantly spoken in the same vein. And then, so at the local level, at the meeting, he was asked, he was suspended, and some of the things that he was alleged to be involved in is, they say, anti-party activities. He says he that led PDP to lose at his ward and local government, along with his allies who also didn't vote at the governorship elections. The ward ESCO also accused him of failing to pay his annual dues as demanded by the PDP constitution. And of course, we know that he had just recently suspended the former governors of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayose and Katsina State, Ibrahim Shetima, for also anti-party activities. So that's where he is. I guess this thing is turn by turn, as they say.
Yeah, so the federal government has confirmed that this year's National Population and Housing Census will begin May 3rd to May 5th. A member of the Publicity and Advocacy Committee on 2023 National Population and Housing Census, Dr. Garba Abari, confirmed this message, and he said it's just going to be for a few days, May 3rd to May 5th. And he says that the census would capture every person, household, and structure for national planning and project execution. That the initial plan they had was to do the census immediately after the elections, and they had to move the census when the governorship and House of Assembly elections was moved. But now that they are ready, in terms of readiness, they said they are very ready.
Because they count. I thought that was amazing. Said it's about national planning and execution of developmental projects.
All right, NAFDAC, so the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control has recalled Esri Care and Delsem Pharma artificial tear eye drops. If you recall those, I remember Esri Care. Anyway, the recall was contained in a public alert by removal of the eyeballs and a case of death with the bloodstream infection. So NAFDAC has said that this test these Esri Care have been asked to be, they are currently inspecting and trying the ones in Nigeria to be sure if they're part of the contaminated one. But in the meantime, they're recalling all those who have the Esri Care and Delsam Pharma artificial tears eye drop, not to use them.
Dick, I need to go and write that thing down because, everybody wears glasses in my house and we have,
Yeah, so. All right, another story, Nation?
Yes, major story. Oyo State has had 4 of their bank accounts blocked because they owe 3.4 billion naira to former local government chairmen and councillors who were elected around May 2018. But when the governor, Makinde, took office in 2019, he dissolved their election. They're supposed to serve for 3 years, but they didn't get to serve. And immediately they found out that he was going to dissolve their election.
Airfare soar as foreign airlines hike exchange rate. Ramadan, ex-governors donate 240 truck of foodstuff, groups to feed 2,000 daily. UK to sanction 10 Nigerians, envoy chides Fani Kayode. PDP vows probe as Benue ward suspends Ayu. And political rascals, FNVR knocks out Nwanyan with demands Ohanese's clarification. All right, story are we taking there?
The LASMA official that was a fake LASMA official that was just arrested. So the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority confirmed the arrest of a fake traffic officer, Bamidele Omotutu, for extorting unsuspecting members of the public, including traffic offenders in the state. So he was picked up around Olu Holloway Road, around Alfred Rowani area of Ikoyi, by a LASMA monitoring surveillance. And by the time they started investigating, they realized that he was making about 35,000 naira daily. So for any traffic offense, or maybe you start, putting down passengers, and he was mainly targeting private drivers, private vehicles, to make that money out of them. And this was brought to LASMA notice when some individuals started putting a call through to LASMA using their hotlines to report that particular guy. And when they asked him, he had to buy this their reflective fake jacket. That was what he was using. He's 55 years of age. And LASMA is putting out a message that every offense that you have to pay for, they are actually very cashless, and they'll have to take you to court if you commit a traffic offense.
You shouldn't
be exchanging cash with any LASMA official. And they are all...
Here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail, or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail, or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least,
ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger,
Take it.
today we'll go here.
Hey, I didn't read you.
Are you sure?
Ha. I know. I'm not here to answer questions. I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch.
So I have the story on airfares. Apparently, a lot of Nigeria ranks #1 in the country that has the most wrapped funds belonging to airlines, and because of that, airlines have now reviewed the cost of the exchange rate for tickets. Usually, it was 462 naira per dollar, but now it has gone to 551 naira per dollar. And travel agents, the former president of the National Association of Nigerian Travel Agents, Mr. Bankole Bernard, was confirmed this and said that it's getting closer to the black market rate because the CBN isn't doing enough to ensure that airlines get their monies out of Nigeria. A promo being run by Virgin Atlantic was 800,000 naira. Based on this change, it now costs 1.1 million naira just because of the increase in the fares. And the conversation is that IATA is giving few weeks for airlines that have their funds trapped in Nigeria to be released. The total amount as of January 2023 is $743 million. $743 million. And they are hoping to get it out within the next few weeks.
That's good. So for me, I have the story. A former governor of Zamfara State, Alhaji Abdulaziz Yari, he has donated 240 trucks of food items to members of the APC, internally displaced persons, orphans, and then other categories of underprivileged persons. He says that he understands that this is something that they do annually and was aimed at cushioning hardship amongst people, especially during the Ramadan fast. He says out of the 240 trucks of food items, 140 will be distributed to the 14 local government area of the state, 10 trucks per local government, 32 trucks for the IDPs, 12 trucks for orphans, 10 trucks for groups and associations, and 46 trucks for Islamic scholars and other underprivileged people. I thought it was good to highlight this because sometimes, we always ask, what do people do in between elections, in between, what do they do as a party? But it looks like, in Zamfara State, this is what they do annually to help people.
So INEC has budgeted 3 billion naira to defend the results of the elections that just passed. That's for the February 25th and the March 18th. According to INEC, so far they have over 100 election petitions that have been filed by aggrieved candidates across the country. And this is why they need quite a lot of lawyers, a lot of money to be able to defend. I'd say across the states, they say some of the states we have Edo, Plateau, Ondo, Kwara, Lagos, Oyo, and a bunch of others. And even the presidential one is also being contested. Although critics have said, for example, PDP has said that Nigeria should be asking INEC why they're spending so much to defend election cases. After spending 300 billion on beavers, why are you now having to spend 3 billion on cases? APC is saying that they don't see what is so extraordinary about the budget, that they have to defend the work they've done. LP is saying no matter how much money you have, we're still going to win our mandate back. So, but they're saying that they need all the refunds, all the funds they can get to defend because they have multiple cases across the state, and it's just budget for the litigations. Moving on now, let's move on quickly to Daily Sun. UK places 10 Nigerians on visa watch list over ethnic profiling. Nwayaun didn't refer to Yoruba as political rascal, says Ohaneze. CBN steps up efforts to end Naira scarcity. More trouble for Ayu as NEC members back suspension by Benue PDP. Census FG assures Nigerians of credible, acceptable exercise. Anti-corruption conference asks Buhari to protect rule of law. Election violence, investigate governors, deputies, all face legal action, Serap tells INEC. Beck, Buhari, Obasanjo, Jonathan Tinubu mourns Kalu and address pains of Igbo Osun monarch, urges Tinubu. Which story are we starting with?
Major headline. So the UK envoy to Nigeria was speaking at Nigeria Info yesterday. The British Deputy High Commissioner to Nigeria, Ben, and I don't want to mispronounce many parts of the name, so I'll just leave it hanging. He said that they put about 10 Nigerians on the UK visa ban watch list, and this is because of what they said, especially within Lagos, the anti-Igbo comments. Also said that they're still watching other people to see what they've said, and he said he thinks it's right to have the diversity of ethnicity, language, and he gave example of London, and he said you see the success of different people within that city because of the success of the different people is what has brought about the success of the city itself, and much more.
Okay, Dr. Alex Ogbonna, he is the National Publicity Secretary of Ohaneze Ndigbo, and he said that the chairman of the Elders Council, Chief Emmanuel Nwayaun, never referred to Yorubas in Lagos as political rascals. He said that he was referencing the video that went viral where Nwayaun was saying that Yorubas are political rascals. He said that the report, Dr. Alex was saying that the report is a typical falsehood, fabricated by social media entrepreneurs, decorated with wings, expanded with venom, injected with ethnic nuances to create inter-ethnic mistrust between the age-long partners in social, cultural, religious, and economic development of Nigeria. He said that what Nwayaun actually said was that I want to tell those in Lagos to realize that there is no war between the Yorubas, between us and the Yorubas. Those who attacked Ndigbo in Lagos recently are rascals who should be arrested. Those were his, according to
Not
generally, those were the words of Nwayaun. He said that Yoruba people have, he said platforms that carry the twisted statements were bent on creating a rift between the Igbos and Yorubas. As much as some mischief makers will twist the speech by Nwayaun, the truth remains that he holds the Yorubas in a very high esteem, and he used the Oka event to express it.
I like the fact that he came out to
Verify
what he said. So this CBN has been. Let's give
ridiculous
them
commission.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. But however, I just want the CBN not to relax on printing of the new notes. You know, this is just going to last us till 31st of December.
Oh,
do we now start all over? Exactly. So even if they are reloading the old cash, they should be working towards the new one, so that once it's 31st of December, we are not back to square one.
Absolutely. Moving on to Vanguard, UK, Afenifere, MBF, Pandep, others decry ethnic profiling. Scarcity of Naira notes easing as banks comply with CBN new directives. PDP crisis deepens as parties suspend National Chairman Ayu. Why we introduce e-Naira, says CBN. Rule of law, anti-graft confab asks Buhari to drop EFCC chairman. FG confirms May 3rd for census. Oluwo to Tinubu convene confab to address Igbo's concerns. All right, which story are we starting in the Vanguard?
So the delegates from 158 anti-corruption, social, society, and non-governmental organization and community-based organization gathered in Abuja. And in an effort to deal with anti-corruption, they asked the president of President Muhammadu Buhari to let the current chairman of EFCC go. They expressed concerns that the current chairman of EFCC, under the leadership of Abdulrasheed Bawa, allegedly lacked transparency. And they said that the legacy of our president, which is supposed to be built on anti-corruption, cannot stand if he retains Mr. Abdulrasheed Bawa as the head of EFCC. They also demanded that what they described as attempts by some politicians and people of vested interest to push the country over the edge, you know, and they spoke against the ethnic crisis, the division among Nigerians, politicians funding and pushing the narrative of division. That also should be dealt with. But they said the main part of their statement was Nigerians cannot continue, Bawa cannot continue to preside over the important law enforcement agency like EFCC, and because he has to answer some cases himself, and the president shouldn't let his present taint the legacy over the past 7 years, almost 8 years.
All right. The Oluwo of Iwo, Oba Akombi, has said that the president-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu must convene a special conference to address the Igbo people's grievances towards achieving a united Nigeria. According to him, he says that the Igbo leaders, all the current utterances from some Igbo leaders shows that the pain of the Igbo concerning the civil war is still fresh, and that the president-elect, let me quote him specifically, he said, I know the president-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu to be a smart leader. He should prioritize the unity of Nigeria through the reintegration of the Igbos to further cement the unity of Nigeria. The president-elect needs to reach out to them. We are all one spirit in a body. And that they need to have a conference to address the hurts of the civil war that's passed. Obviously, it's quite fresh, and they counted the highest loss of human lives and property during that period. And from the utterances today shows that hurt still exists, and it needs to be addressed by a conference. Any others? Moving on to the Nigerian Tribune, I think, and we're done. Afenifere tackles the 1 year war. We've talked about that. Protect your legacy. Let Bawa go. National Anti-Corruption Conference tells Buhari. 6 lawmakers jostle for 10th Assembly seat as Northwest aspirants swell push for Senate presidency. 2023 census starts in May. Gombe retains top position as easiest state for business. Oh, really?
I'm relocating.
Oh, your speaker loses mom. Dia dies at 78. Buhari, OBJ, Jonathan Tinubu, others mourn. And PDP Benue Ward suspends Ayu. Okay. Nobody took...
the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council has released the 2nd edition of the Subnational Ease of Doing Business Report for 2023, which places Gombe again ahead of the 36 states of the Federation. It says Gombe is the jewel of the savannah. And they recorded a weighted score of 7.15 to emerge as the state's friendliest environment for business. Then we have Jigawa as 2nd, and followed by Sokoto 3rd. And as I was reading it, I was like, are you sure I ain't relocating some of my businesses?
Our makeup artist, the young girl, she just said that she went to Gombe and it was such a beautiful place.
Oh, God.
And she enjoyed serving there.
We need to go to some of these
scared, but she loved it. So, I mean, I think Gombe, that could be actually correct.
Amazing.
I'd love to go to Gombe. That is all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, start with the hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ask questions, and if it's something that I saw coming, I may not even ask questions. I may just I may even tell you I saw this.
What if it's in person? But then would it make a difference where? So like this person might just say you can just be on 3rd Milan Bridge on a bike and the person say, babe, I cannot do it again, and you lose range. So what would change? What would change the scenario? Like, does it matter where? Do you want to have like a fancy dinner, like the film you were mentioning?
No, like finding your beauty.
Or do you want to be on the street?
Don't carry me go fancy dinner.
Or you might just una dey run for treadmill.
Or you not a joke.
Don't tell you lose for your web.
Now I don't turn attempted murder.
So which would it be? Because I'm like, in person you have the closure that you want and the few injuries.
Guys, that's one place. It could be inside the car. You can sit inside the car.
Why car? Why not bike?
Who will be driving?
Why bike?
Who will be
No,
driving
now
at
the
this
car will
point?
be stationary.
Pray I'm not the one driving.
The car
Just
will be
pray.
stationary.
Because I go master. You can't be telling me like me. I'm gonna drive near water.
All
You
of
must
us.
consider.
Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the grand comedian of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Gbenga Adeyinka the First. OJ right here, 7 of 7, like you already know.
Gbenga right here, 7 of 7, like I'm beginning to know.
It's now time for the questions.
You don't scare me one bit. Bata bata, I go drink. So,
Okay. So now one chance for enter. My first question. Do you remember the names of the winners of that edition of StarQuest?
of course I do.
Why do you?
And I hate myself for this because I have this question for you. Final question. Where outside Nigeria and what year? Think you're the only one that can be wicked.
I am thinking because I know back in the day.
Don't think. Answer my question quick. You are thinking too much. I don't like it.
The UK.
Final answer.
Thanks for staying with us. Good. This morning we'll be discussing a viral video that showed a woman being dehumanized by police in Delta State. The story there was that the police had gone to the woman's house to arrest her son. Unfortunately, the son was not there. The mother was found, and then she was dehumanized. The video went viral last weekend. Where we saw about 3 police officers and a woman and a female police using a rope to tie down a woman, holding her down, eventually then pushing her into the car. This video went viral, and many have complained about the dehumanization of this act. There's been a press release from the Commissioner of Police. He condemns the act. Let me read their words specifically. The command is aware of the video recording that's gone viral about a woman being dehumanized. After a careful examination of the video clip, it is clear and obvious that the policeman acted in an unprofessional manner and unbecoming of police officers. The command condemns their act in totality as no citizen deserves to be treated in such a manner either by the police or anybody. Their act is not only inexcusable, but unpardonable and will not be tolerated by the command. Therein, police officers serving at Agbaro Division have been identified, summoned, and detained by the command headquarters. This is by the CP Ari Mohammed yesterday. He also said that they wish to reiterate that a rope is not a police accoutrement, and as such should not be used by any police in whatsoever. So really, we understand the police force itself has condemned this act. However, there are police on the road, the ground officers, the foot soldiers out there that still don't adhere to the various rules of the Nigerian police. And this is one of the examples we've seen. What are your thoughts, especially because there's been so much work within the police force to reorientate the minds of their people, to change their acts, to change their behaviors, but yet some where we rip out clothes of somebody who, he was a receptionist, he was a security guard, he stole this amount of money, and we rip them off, tie them up, and then try to dehumanize something. So yes, they are police officers, but they are also Nigerians. This is something we've seen happen across, but not just with the police. What are your thoughts? Because I don't want to just point finger as if it's only the police that does it, but in this case, it's the police, but it's beyond that. But let me. What are your thoughts on this video?
We'll start by pointing fingers because we've caught on tape a person that we expect knows better, a law enforcement person, someone who has gone through training on what is the law, someone who's gone through training on what is good and what is bad, someone whose job is to maintain law and order, descend into doing something totally against law and order. So we will definitely point fingers. We can excuse if an illiterate person says, I caught somebody sleeping with my husband and then I did a video and stripped them naked and we beat them. We can say, oh, they did not know better. It was crime of emotion or things like that, but crime of passion. But a police officer, or rather, a group of police officers, there were 5 of them. One of them should have known better. One should have called the other into order. Even if that woman was a criminal, she shouldn't have been treated like that. Talk of the fact that this woman was not a criminal. Even if she birthed a criminal, doesn't mean that she should be treated in such a way. Stripped naked, tied with a rope, left on the floor, as in the way it was manhandling. That shouldn't have taken place to a criminal and then now being meted out to a citizen who just happened to be the mother of someone that is suspected of crime. Okay. Totally wrong.
Who else wants to start with the thoughts on the video?
Yeah, I think the police needs to review how they carry out investigations. I've said this here sometime, and somebody was like, well, you're not a police officer now. Why are you forming consultants? And why are you talking about American movies, you know? But we can't keep doing something the same way over and over and expect a different result. It's going to end up this way. So if peradventure you have a suspect in mind, and you go to invite the person for questioning, and the person is not available, you shouldn't be picking family members. You shouldn't arrest any family members. You go and come back. You keep going back till you find this person.
Around.
You can send people to hide under disguise. You don't have any issues with the family members of the person till you get this person, and maybe they now start exposing some of the family members that they worked in connivance with. You don't do that. But what we see here is there's a comedy a young boy did some time ago, and he was comparing China, the China police, the American police, and he says, you know, when an American police gets suspects that you are a thief or something, they will call you, they will question you, they will do that till you confess, or they lay traps for you till you confess. But if it's a Nigerian police that suspects that you are a thief, they will catch you, they will beat you till you confess to a crime you have not committed. It was a young boy. And that's because of some of the things he has seen in society. And we see a lot of people sometimes are like a mistaken identity. They are arrested for a crime that at the end of the day, you find out that they did not commit. They have been beaten, they have been tortured, and all that. Can we stop all this? I know that the police will say that they train their people, but we are not seeing the effects of the training, especially on those people that they send, the officers that go on the streets. We don't see the effects of the training. So the training is not for just the high-class people who would speak English and come and defend and quick to write letter to say, we condemn, we condemn. Can we stop condemning and actually act on what is happening? Can we change the mindsets of the people on the streets? Because I understand that They had a lot of issues.
We'll come to the mindset of it. Okay. Let me get you, because I want us to dig into that a bit. But let me come to your thoughts on the video.
So, of course, it was annoying to watch. But I don't want to dwell on, everything we said so far, because I'll be repeating the same thing. But I would say that the positive is like I'm happy that the police made a statement, and they did it in good time.
Yeah.
There used to be a time in this country that this would have just gone, would have screamed at most, and then would have moved on. Now the police understand.
I want to hear what you're saying, because I'm told your mic is not good. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll hear Mariam speak. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. The one who can make time stand still forever, Mr. Kelechi Amadi. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, my brother.
You love that intro, Abi?
Yeah. It was great.
Okay.
Thank you.
We try like that.
Thank you.
Now my question, which I feel is a cheap question.
Oh, go ahead.
What does ISO stand for?
That is it. I think I'll drink.
No, you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Kelechi Amadi. No. Shay, you didn't whine me. You're whining me now.
I think I'll drink.
Huh?
No problem.
Okay.
I've always known this as ISO. I never bothered to know what it means. I know what it means, but I never bothered to know what the acronym is. Tell me the brand of camera that I use, so much so that I even became an ambassador. That's very easy. It's out there.
It's supposed to be, yeah.
I just said, look, I give you this one as a token of my appreciation.
Sony.
Drink!
I'm not done. You did not say final answer.
Final answer.
You did not ask me if that was my final answer.
You don't have any choice again. It's only
Nikon.
how many cameras do they have? My
Nikon.
friend to drink. I gave you a very easy something.
Nikon now.
Thanks for staying with us. Yes, Mariam, we're telling us your thoughts.
Yes, I
on
was
this.
saying that just like, the other ladies have spoken, I condemn in totality what the police did. But just to also move from the condemnation is that, okay, I would say the positive is that the police immediately responded to that video. There used to be a time that this would have meant nothing. We would have just moved on and more people would just be abused and brutalized every day. But now the police understand that Nigerians are calling them, to be accountable for their actions. So what I'm expecting now after this letter is to see a proper, what's the word now? Like the prosecution of these officers. I know that many times we like to think it's a Nigerian thing, but of course we've seen the American police, we see the way that they treat black Americans and black people in America, killing them, kneeling on their necks and things like that. So police brutality, it seems like there's something about having power, having access to guns and having that sort of power over people that sort of messes up with, you know, maybe your head or something. And for us in Nigeria, it's a combination of that and I would say illiteracy. Constantly we talk about the lack of training that we have, that our officers have in the police force. And unless we take that seriously, let police officers understand how to speak to people, ask people questions, how to investigate without getting into the, without hurting people and brutalizing people. They have to understand that there are creative and intelligent ways of arresting people or getting people to, you know. So
let me take you up on that, Mariam.
Okay, I'm listening. You cut me off.
I think that one of the problems, and I've always said this before, is us, the middle class. I think we're one of Nigeria's biggest problems. Let me tell you why. We have the exposure, we've seen the movies, we've traveled abroad, we've seen, and we expect the Nigerian policeman to treat you like the American policeman will treat you. How do you remove Nigerian from a Nigerian society? They live in this country. A policeman is possibly trained. I've heard that where they brought in foreign police officers to come and train our people. Yes, in that small four-corner wall, you are well trained. The moment you step out, you try to now go and engage somebody who is smoking weed or somebody who maybe inside a Ajegunle and say, hello, young man, are you okay? I just see your eyes are red. You know, stuff like that. When you get 2 slaps from Ajegunle as a police officer, you remind yourself that training you got in the 4 walls of it is different from the reality. He said it happens also when somebody gets in master's degree in America and says, oh, I got 3 masters. Once you enter the Nigerian system, you realize that it's a different ball game. That your master's in Harvard, you need a whole new perspective. You have to enter the Nigerian market to understand how people think, how people reason, that there's only lay involved. There is this issue that you have to, there's a different man that Harvard cannot teach you. The same way. So I'll come to the fact that we always say that they're not trained. I want to argue that they are trained. Or sometimes a whole different ball game. So those men you saw dehumanizing, I've seen people, normal citizens, dehumanize themselves. If you and I want a better police, you and I should begin to treat, since you have the exposure, you've seen the American movies, when you see a policeman, greet him with respect and regard. When many of us in the middle class that have watched DSTV and watched movies, start beginning to treat them the way citizens should treat, maybe they can begin to, so that learning they're learning in the classroom, can begin to reflect. So many of us, we're starting a conversation. I'm just trying to see a perspective that we also have a job to do as citizens to change the mindset of the police gradually by respecting, talking to them with dignity, and then maybe they can start treating us with respect.
I love your point of, you know, and we always get there. There's no day that we talk about issues like that. We don't also highlight the part that we have to play. But you know, in this case, I would use another example. We have nurses and doctors in Nigeria that were trained in Nigeria, did everything in Nigeria, and then when you go to hospitals, they treat you well, they do the surgery or whatever, they carry it so well that even countries abroad want our doctors and nurses. This is where they learn to do their job. We have not said, and in this same scenario, we have called out Nigerian nurses and doctors who have behaved in a way that is not right. We will not blame Nigeria and the way Nigeria is for some people or for some professionals. What I like about this situation is that finally the police understands the part it has to play in calling out the bad eggs. We never used to have that in the police. I mean, it's something that we are seeing maybe in the last 4 or 5 years. We cannot say to someone who's been trained, whose job and who has gone through the training, as you're saying that they get training, which is even sad for me, that they are getting the training on how to handle people and how to do their jobs, and they come and behave like touts. They behave like bandits. I would rather believe that they are not getting the training, but to say to me that they went through training and still come out this way, then there's a big issue. To also say that...
Okay, for a second. Yeah. So I can't categorically say I'm not their trainer. I'm just saying that I'm putting it hypothetically that I assume after all the NSAS, there have been several trainings of the police. That's an assumption.
But this is something that we have talked about, the training of police. This is our reality. We say it. How can you say that you have trained someone? Then when we talk to them one-on-one, when we communicate with them, when we are in, and we see some of the things that does not
why a
show.
Harvard graduate cannot work in certain places in Nigeria. It's the same thing. It's a reality.
So let me tell you how I see what you have said. I totally disagree with you. And that's because to whom much is given, much is expected. If you decide to be a policeman and you get all of your trainings, you should know when to deploy the training and when not to. So if you are getting into the criminal den, you know that there are guys with their guns and they're smoking weed and doing all of that. You know that that's not the time to be civil. You have to round them up. If you are getting into a civilian base, where is a woman you are going to pick? I'm highlighting this case now, whose son probably is a criminal. You're just suspecting. And she's refusing to go with you. Is that where you deploy your craziness because you're in Nigeria? That's you not following through. And because we do not have systems to check all of this, that's where you feel you can do it. If, for instance, a policeman does this sort of thing and is sacked or laid off or taken to prison, another one does it and say, no, I have to use or go through the proper means. I have to deploy what I am taught, especially if I'm going to a civilian's quarter. If you're going to, is a covert operation, the way they barge into hotels to catch criminals and all of that, that's a different ball game. You're going to where you're supposed to have a conversation. You're actually going to invite somebody to follow you to the police for questioning, and then you're using rope. And you say because they are Nigerians. So are you telling us that every Nigerian person is a crazy person?
Well, that's something we can talk about. But let me take this call and I'll come back to you, Tope. Good morning, Toby. Are you there from the UK?
Good morning, ladies. Happy birthday, BC.
Thank you.
Blinding me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. All right. I was going to contribute to the program.
Yeah.
I've heard you guys talk about training. And in my head, I'm thinking, how much training can we do to an already troubled mind to get them, to start thinking right or to start doing the right thing? And what I mean is, we all grew up from families. We all grew up in the society. We were raised in a certain way. A man that has been raised in a particular way, a man whose mind is already disturbed from childhood, he starts to look for a job. He gets a job in a police establishment. He goes through training for a month, 2 months, even if it's a year. Do you think that 1 year training can change the mindset, can change that upbringing? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? This thing, how do we take out the brain that was already formed in a particular way and begin to put new things into them in 6
Oh, Toby lost that. So, Toby, I'll come to you, Toby. I think I like what Toby was saying is that who we are as a people is difficult. The American police that we love, he grew up in a loving society.
You think so?
Not necessarily, but I'm just saying that the system he's born in has given him enough to respect the next person.
So what is
we hardly do.
Black American?
Exactly. So the thing is, we make our habit makers. We make the society makes us.
Absolutely.
So the people create the system creates the people. It goes in and out. But there are people that are custodians of the system. And the police are in that category of custodians of the system.
Yes, sir.
Our leaders are custodians of the system. The bottom-up approach, when you're trying to do a change management in any system, you look at who are the stakeholders. Police is a stakeholder. The churches, the political leaders, traditional rulers, these are all stakeholders. These are people that help to shape the system. And it is wrong because scientifically it's been proven that the brain can change. I can be brought up in a terrible environment and I go through training and I change and my brain waves change in such a powerful way. Yes. Our brain is not formed and is static.
At all.
Many people don't know. You can be dumb all your life till you are 40, and at 40 you say I am smart, and then you start learning and you go to the process, and at 50 you are super brilliant because you have decided to. Our brain can.
Yes.
So when we say the society has put us in this space, we are just giving ourselves excuses to continue in our bad habits.
Thank you, Tope.
And we're continuing it, and everybody's saying that's the way we were brought up. This is the way we've always done it.
All of us are
the
mad.
leaders and stakeholders should say, this is a better society. Some people, I came back from Qatar, Morayo, I did not see police officers, but you will see cameras everywhere. I came into the airport, I just took a picture, as I was leaving, just took a picture. They have created a system, and it wasn't always like that. 25 years ago, they decided that our people deserve better. So here's what I'm saying, Morayo, that the system is bad now. And the police officers are not on their own. I've already mentioned it. Yes. I said they are stakeholders that change the system. Yeah. Okay. All of us are part of the system, but stakeholders change the system.
I hear you. So there's a rich man. Somebody said earlier that, an uneducated somebody that is doing this stuff. But there are rich men, big men, that will bring their houseboy, tie them up, slash them naked. And these are people that have graduated and they're also educated.
They are part of the system.
Part of the stakeholders.
No, they're not stakeholders. They are part of the system. No,
we are
being wealthy does not make you a stakeholder.
No. We are Nigerians. We are stakeholders in this Nigeria.
Yes, we are part of the system. Yes. We are not stakeholders. The stakeholders are people that can make a decision that can impact on the lives of many. Yeah. One police officer can affect, if a police officer comes inside here, no matter how wealthy we are, we will all stand. Yes. Because he is a stakeholder. Yeah. When the government comes in here, everybody will stand. A soldier comes here, we will stand. Yes. When a traditional ruler comes here, we will stand. Yes. They are stakeholders. It's not about wealth.
Okay. No, I get what you mean by we're all
stakeholders. We are part of the system.
We're also stakeholders.
This nation called Nigeria.
Yes.
You see, we cannot get one person who I have appointed to fix Nigeria. You and I are going to fix Nigeria. How do I fix Nigeria? When I see a police, I am respectful. When I see if my houseboy does something, I don't ramp him up and tie him up with rope and say you must arrest him. No, I give him that dignity of who he is. So tomorrow, if you become a police officer, he gives the next person dignity and respects you. That policeman could have been somebody's houseboy in the past. That woman you've seen could have been somebody's house girl in the past, where somebody beat her up, and then all she knows in her head is we must tie you up with the rope. The point I'm trying to make is that I agree with each other. Yeah. I want you to understand that we the people, we that claim that we want to point finger at police, we are equally culprits in this.
Morayo, we are all stakeholders in this country, Nigeria. All of us citizens, I agree with you. It's not just the police, but in our stakeholding, we have called some people aside and we have given them ministries, departments, and agencies. You see, not everybody has, we are saying to them, not everybody has head, but you make sure they have head.
They're supposed to have head.
So, but you are taking us from this whole Nigeria. Yes, so we're putting you through this training so that you would tell us, when you're in a class, even in primary school, you have a class prefect. And the class prefect will be called aside and told, this is what I expect you to do. When the class prefect does something wrong or is caught, his name is in the noisemakers list, they're like, you, class prefect, you should know better. So that's it with the police. They should know better. Okay. And what even makes it more shocking or painful is, not only are you just asked, you're holding a gun, you have that power of, of the gun over people. And to do that to another person who we know that is not a criminal on the run, who was not pointing guns at you. We have heard of police officers and we thank them for their sacrifice, we thank them for their work when they go and they're in gun duels with people. But we're talking of this particular scenario. And we have seen it many times where people are over, is it overzealousness or I don't understand. You use a hammer to destroy an egg. This is just a person that you would have, they would have just put handcuffs on her and this would have been done.
It's even
but
wrong.
to strip her naked and have the rope tied on her arms, it's just so...
Good morning, Benjamin. Sorry for keeping you. Are you there?
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I greet all of you there and happy birthday to family celebrating today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's not clear.
Before I bring in my point, I want to give this piece of advice. Knowing that you people that you are there physically, you have the length of time to speak and report about the topic there. But those people, those of us that we are contributing at our own cost, please be considerate. Once a call enters, try to answer us first before you continue your discussion over there, so that the one that they are holding will not spend much, and the money will not have expected that will even that will deprive the person to contribute his fund or her fund. Now, my point on this is this.
Can you hear me?
You people that...
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
You were saying that when a call comes in, we should cut the call into the show immediately and not wait until our contribution is over. Because people that are calling also want to contribute.
Okay. So, they say
Good feedback to the ladies.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you. They say, you know...
I think I have to go on a break. Okay. When I come back, I'll take your point. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
All right.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger, today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
Ha. I'm not here to answer questions, I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born till 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ fẹlá. Ọmọ Anikulapo Kuti. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by Audison. It's not by Audison.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this, the happenings in Delta State, where police people dehumanized a woman who they said that her son was possibly a criminal, and they had gone to take her down. And the CP of Delta State has condemned this in its entirety and said that those who were arrested will be persecuted. He'll be joining us very soon on the phone in a moment. But let me take your thoughts before I go to him.
Yeah, so, you know, the other lady that called, they said something about society forming who we are, and so we cannot separate the police from the society, because how long will you train somebody, even if it's a year, and expect the person to change. But I beg to differ. And like Tokbe explained, the human mind can accept what he wants to accept and transform when he's ready to transform. And I've never seen even a madman go and meet a cow, right? Madmen will harass you. But when they see animals, they run. Because even in their madness, they have sense. And you wouldn't say because you had a bad upbringing or you are laden with poverty and then you transfer it. When you are working, you are supposed to wear a cap for that profession. That is what makes you different because you are doing that job. No matter how crazy somebody gets, if you know that if you misbehave in your office, you will be fired. You will organize yourself. As crazy as we think Nigerians are, when they travel outside the country, they obey the rules. They stand in line because they know that there are consequences for those actions. So the police needs to understand that I have to go by the training that I have, or there are consequences for my actions if I do not. And that's why we are gatekeepers. There are stakeholders in the country, but there are people that are more stakeholders than others. And they are in that category, like Tokbe rightly explained. And so we must hold them to higher standards than the ordinary human being. So the thing is, we're telling Nigerians to treat other people better and all of that. And when you commit a crime, we call you out even on this table for overbeating your house help and, you know, but this is for the police who are supposed to hold to higher standards. They must show forth, no matter how annoyed you are on that particular day. So once you wear your uniform, you should know that I'm wearing this cap and I have to be this person. I'm a life coach, right? And sometimes I have to deal with a client and maybe somebody has annoyed me somewhere. I take my time and wear that life coaching cap because I have a client who is paying me and I behave like a life coach. Like when I finish, I go back and quarrel with the person I want to quarrel. We must learn to separate our emotions from the jobs that we do.
You know what I find quite interesting about us, because just like you said, it's a Nigerian would enter the Nigerian airport, see a custom officer and offer to bribe the person because they want to go through. That's a Nigerian, not the customer. They will offer, well, God, just take 2,000 naira. That same Nigerian just came back from UK, went to maybe an office and will stay in line for 2 hours just to be spoken to. We know, we as a people, we know what to do. It's like many of us don't respect our systems. And what I'm trying to say is that the percentage of Nigerians that have exposure is higher than the 300,000 or 400,000 Nigerian police that we have. We have a duty as Nigerians who have this, oh, I just went to the UK. Those of you, come back. Treat each other with respect and regard. This same Nigerian that went to the UK will still take a houseboy and slap their face because, oh, you took my $2,000. Or we still treat each other. So I'm saying that for those of us that know better, that we have the higher ground, that we are smarter, we have a bit of exposure. If we start to treat each other with that respect and regard, it will begin to trickle down to the police. So when the police, we are not talking to that 400,000, when my mom was done. When we begin to see policemen, that 400,000 on the road, and we're treating them with respect, gradually, when they have to go and meet somebody, arrest, they arrest with respect because they're beginning to realize they can talk to human beings. I'm saying that I'm agreeing with you that they were wrong. But we the people, let us not forget that we have responsibility to change the mentality.
This is not a case for we the people. Let's separate it. When we the people misbehave, they call we the people and they arrest we the people. This is police now. Let's highlight. I'm not mixing that. I agree. Let's not mix up the conversation. If you as a body does something wrong, let's talk about it.
Let me even just...
You as a people do something wrong, let's talk about it. But swapping it so that the police will change, we will have to do better. It's the other way around. Because those who are in positions of authority should set the example and then it trickles down.
I just want to say it's actually the other way around about them setting example. So using your same example, you say that Nigerians, when they go abroad, they respect the system. Why do they respect the system? Because the system respects itself. But here, Nigeria will come... That
system was the product of who they were.
It respects itself. It understands. In that country, it's not that there are no criminals or that crimes are not committed. But they know that when they are caught, they'll be punished. Here is that Nigerians understand the systems are disrespecting themselves. Nigerians understand that there are loopholes and there are flaws in the system, and they'll find ways to, take advantage of that flaw. So if you are the police system or the police body and you are the military body, and someone comes and offers you the bribe you respect yourself, you respect your office, you respect your uniforms, the ethics, the conduct of your office, you will not receive that, you will not collect it. And the next Nigerian knows that if you try to bribe a Nigerian officer, you're in big trouble. So they have to set the example for how they want to be approached and treated, and Nigerians would quickly adjust. That's how it should work.
Okay, all right, let's take your point. But let me take this call. Elijah's been holding for a while. Good morning, Elijah.
Good morning, Mariah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, this is first time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Regarding Nigerian policemen, some of them are professional in their job, but I think I still need to encourage them in the sense that maybe probably when they are on their training, you should allow them to watch American films well, and then they should know how to handle, people, because most of them, even the good you talk, when they come to arrest you, you'll be asking yourself, is this Nigerian police? But it's not that all of them are bad. There are some that are bad, and there are some that are good. But I know one day we are definitely going to get it right. I believe so. And this, your show, is really helping to shaping so many things as far as Nigeria is concerned. Honestly, if people are watching this program, I believe if the policemen who are watching it will help educate them more. Right. You guys are really doing wonderfully.
Thank you, Elijah. Thank you, Elijah.
So I was going to bring another angle where a police officer is trying to carry out a civil arrest, like being very polite, and the person you're trying to arrest strips naked. What do you do?
Let me pause you for a second. The PPRO is on the phone. That's important. I'll come back to you on that point. He's on Zoom. So DSP Bright Edafe, that's the Police Public Relations Officer of Delta State Command. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, good to have you. So give us an update on this arrest that happened, the dehumanization of this young woman. What happened exactly?
Okay, I've been following the program and I want to quickly correct an impression before I proceed. It's as alleged that they went to arrest the son of the woman is not true. One Mr. Tango James actually reported a case of assault and malicious damage against the woman. That was why the police went there to effect that arrest. Unfortunately, the policemen exhibited what the command even till now cannot explain it. What they were thinking is something that we cannot explain because it is unreasonable for policemen to behave that way. Rope is not part of police or countrymen, and as such should not even be used in whatever guise. Secondly, the woman was naked. I was made to understand that she was tying a wrapper that was put off her body during the altercation. Well, at that point, I believe they ought to have looked for a way to cover the woman, and if they must restrain her, then they have to use handcuffs. So going that far in the name of trying to effect that arrest is so wrong, so bad, so painful. The command is sad as we speak. The CP is sad, and that is why they are currently in detention, and they will be tried summarily on oath. And when I say on oath, it goes two ways. It is either dismissal or reduction in rank. I want to assure that woman and members of the public that these policemen will not go unpunished.
CP, let me ask you, these men that arrested this woman, were they trained or not trained? Have they been trained? Should they know better?
If they were not trained, we will not be having the right to detain them and want to try them on the road. They have been trained and retrained. Even in the command level, we organize training and retraining for policemen where we draw out four personnel from each division on 2 weeks basis. So if we have not done our own part, then we will not have the right to punish them. It is because we have done our part and they know that they have not done the right thing. The Commissioner of Police Delta State always have this monthly briefing with officers and men. Where he speaks with men, the officers tell them to go back to their division and cascade the message downward. So we have been doing that. Apart from the training at the college and the police training station level, we have always been training and retraining them. There are times I myself, when I have the opportunity to talk to them, I let them know that we should be civil when we are dealing with members of the public. And I give them reasons. We are from different homes, different background. We also have civilians among us. Like in my family, currently I'm the only serving policeman. So other members of my family, they are civilian. I will not be happy if they are treated the way that woman was treated.
Okay. I like how you're sounding. And we're living to see the day where the police will be holding itself accountable when they do wrong. And this is very, I'm going to applaud you for this. Well done. And I would like to ask, are you trying to upgrade your training in such a way? So there's a difference between gathering people together and having a conversation on what to do and what not to do. And you understand that the kind of job you're doing, the people who are at, handling those positions must be at a level where their mind is sane most of the time. So are you considering in that training where you could have therapists come one-on-one to talk to these police officers? Their job is enormous, and with all the pressures of Nigeria, sometimes they would flip. Are you considering that? That's like an upgrade in the training, so that you have better men representing the police force out there?
We are not just considering that, we are already on that.
Okay.
Just 2 weeks before election, we have delegates from Police Trust Fund that came to the command to lecture officers and men on emotional intelligence. It's very, very important. So we are not starting it now. It's something that we have been doing, and that is why the policemen have been somewhat detained, and their trial will commence today. Because we have been doing this thing. Exercise of discretion is key when we are carrying out our police duties. It is expected that those policemen, about 3 of them are inspectors of police. To be an inspector of police, it is expected that they have put up about 15 years in service, the least. So they ought to have known what is right and what is wrong. So to your question, it's not something we are starting now. It's something that we have since started in synergy with other human rights organizations.
All right. So let me ask this question. I mentioned it just before you came on about the fact that if an arrest was about to take place and the person you're about to arrest strips naked, we've seen that happen a few times. Law enforcement officials stop a someone that was contravening traffic rules, and the person just removes his clothes. And what would be the next step that the law enforcement person should have carried out if they see that the person they are trying to arrest is naked?
Removing the clothes is not, if someone that is about to be arrested removes his or her clothes, that is not the problem of the police. However, the mode of arrest is key. I think why we are having this conversation now is down to how this woman was molested. Using a rope to tie her like a common criminal. Even criminals have rights. So if her clothes out of her body, if the camera that was recording captured the policeman trying to cover the woman's nakedness, I believe you will be applauding the police for their actions by now.
Yeah.
So what the police are supposed to do in cases like that, if you have reasons to believe that this person is insane, you can discretionarily leave that person, contact the right authority to come and take over custody of that person. But if the person is doing that willfully, knowing that that person is sound, you can still do all you can to arrest lawfully, not using rope or any accoutrement that is not given to the police. To the police person effecting that arrest by the police organization itself is wrong. What the policeman did there is not something that we can even try to defend.
Fantastic.
It's clearly and obviously wrong. It's sad.
Sippy, let me go on a quick break. We like the way you're sounding this morning. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with you. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Win is not just where, but who wouldn't you want to work with?
Yes, that's on that angle.
So Laifa had a very, very interesting.
You wouldn't want to work with who?
There's no judgment.
No, and I
they'll
respect,
judge you
I
definitely,
respect
but we won't
this
judge
certain
you.
type of people. But what I dislike so much is when they tend to come to work and then they pour all their
resentment from
on you. Is it me that offended you? I'm not the one. I have no business. Mom, just come out with you, pay me at the end of the month, and let me go back to my house in peace and sleep. But when it comes to like divorced people, I cannot work with a divorcee. I can't see myself doing that. If I find out, if you can hide it or not, but if I find out,
when they are nice divorcees,
I would just.
What if they are nice?
Okay, now it depends. If you are nice, cool. But if you are the type that you don't know how to keep your anger to yourself, you always pour it on somebody. Well, I'll just drop my resignation letter, no matter the amount you're paying me.
So it's more passive-aggressive people.
Yeah, I can't do it. I'm so sorry.
Oh, definitely.
And I cannot work with stingy people.
See this one.
Because you cannot be passing me in the morning, afternoon. I can say, oh, hi, yeah, I'm working. Oh, yeah, take 100 naira, take 10K, take 15K. You don't have to be my sugar daddy or sugar mommy. See, the way you treat others is the way they will treat you outside. And if you cannot treat your workers well, they are not a good boss. If you cannot be dashing me small thing or giving me donuts when I'm working, you are not a good boss.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Egbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body, no. Teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
Teeth is not a bone. You know what came to my head now? That sound. Crickets.
So, editor, you can put that cricket sound there. You can still put it down too.
When was the first Gulda ultimate search? Editor?
Thanks for staying with us. We still have our guest. Yes, Mariam has a question for the guest.
Yes, I would just like if you could help inform us and educate us on what the minimum requirement or criteria is for the police force to, for a police officer to join the police force. Like academically, I understand, do they have to have gone through university or is it secondary school? And the quality of people, like personally, their personality, how do you vet, those kind of people or the people that apply to join the police force? And do you have would you say we have quite a number of Nigerians that fall within the criteria that the police force is seeking?
Okay, the minimum requirement to join the police force at the recruit level is senior school living certificate, that is SSC. That's the minimum requirement at the recruit level, not at the officer cadre. However, what we do now is, for the officer cadre, we admit them into our university, that is the police academy, where they are admitted with their O-level certificate, and they are trained in that university for about 4 to 5 years, where they now become graduate students. But for the recruitment level, those that want to start as a constable, the minimum requirement is SSC.
Okay. All right. So when do we hope to see prosecution? Because usually when the police detains many of their officers, we don't really get to hear what happens afterwards. Will we be updated on what's going to be happening to these people? I think there are 3 men and 1 woman, correct?
4 men and 1 female.
4 men and 1 woman. Okay. When do we get to hear?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Just before this program, I got a call from the CP, and the CP gave a very firm directive that the evidence is already overwhelming. So there is nothing to investigate. The evidence is clear and obvious. So they will be tried summarily. I mean, I believe today is Monday. Before the end of this week, the trial should be concluded. And like I stated in my press release, the outcome of the Odilon trial will be made public.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank you so
a
much.
different breed. Yeah,
So this is DSP Bright Edafe. He's the PRO officer for Delta State Command. Thank you very much.
Thank you
for joining us this morning.
And what have we done for the woman? The woman that was
Come
brutalized.
again.
What has the police force done for the woman that was brutalized? Any form of compensation, or at least sitting down with her and talking to her? What has the police done anyway?
Yes, the CP has mandated the DPO Agbaro division to reach out to the woman and her family. I believe by the end of today, we'll be able to get 1 or 2 feedback from the DPO.
Thank you very much. I think I'll let you go at this time. It was really, really great to hear. Yeah, it's really refreshing to hear the Nigerian police speak concerning these kind of things this way. I think Nigerians always want to hear empathy. They want to hear that Nigerians are concerned, the police are concerned. Yes, we're not making excuses. We're just painting different scenarios to understand the various perspective to an issue. And I'm happy that the police, but it's interesting that the police can say here, in this case, that there's nothing to investigate. It's open and shut. But there have been other several cases where we've seen that it's open and shut. And they will still tell you that we see investigation will be ongoing. That was then.
But you know one of the things that the press release said, and even the PRO said, rope. You other videos, we don't see rope. Like you did not. It's not just that you dehumanize someone. You used a tool that was not in any way provided for you. Where did you get the rope for? Why did you use the rope? You have error. Yeah. So you see that there are things. That's why I said it was of course the open and short cases. Like we can see that you used a rope.
What I'm saying that in our experience on this table, we have seen several open and short cases of videos. I can't recall now, but there's been so many cases where you tell the police say investigations are still ongoing. Yeah,
because sometimes they can be shades.
But to hear the same police tell you today that this one is very obvious, there's hardly any.
Well, I guess it's only the police that can tell you if it is open and short. You as a Nigerian, you can decide what's open and short, but the police may not think.
Especially because what we see is usually not the entire story. Yeah. Remember what he said that the story we heard was they were going to arrest
the son,
and then found out that she was the one that was being arrested in place of the son, only for him to say that that wasn't the story. Yeah. So sometimes what we see on social media is not the truth. But if the police is saying from their own point of view that we believe that our own people were culpable in how they managed this situation, then it is inspiring hope in the police system. And we need to see, we don't want to see more crimes. We just want this to be highlighted a whole lot more. And the same people that made that video of the pulling go viral, please take the video of what the police PRO for Delta State just said. Let it go viral as well. Let people see that the police are doing what they can within their own control to ensure the system is cleaned up with it from inside out.
Even the posture of this police.
Please make it go viral.
Some other police or PRO need to learn from the officer, just the Odafe. Because the way he was saying, even the way he's, you know how we've seen plenty PRO comes on this stage.
They will shut you up in your.
They will tell you, you see, that is not how it is done. No, you don't understand it. Let me just say, I'm this one. I'm just Nigerian police, because I am an optimist, and I believe that Nigeria can work. And I'm one person that I believe that the police is making an effort. Yes, sometimes we don't see it on the roads. When our youngsters say they arrested me because I have dreadlocks, we see that the profiling is still going on. But we also know that the police is trying to make an effort. And the posture of, listen, this case, it's clear, we're going to do what we're doing, we arrested them, is wrong. You know, they itemize the issues they've had with the video and what happened. And they're also telling us, even the women will be accordingly visited and should be sorted out. So that's refreshing to know. And when we hear this kind of stories, we highlight it because we want Nigerians to believe in the system. And that's my continuous grouse. We, the people, always find every opportunity to bring down what is ours. And if we see that Nigerian police is doing better, we should applaud them. Yes, Mariam.
Is that not what we're
Oh, sorry, I have a call. Yakub, you're live. Go ahead, please. Our final call on this, then we're going to break. Yakub.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Mariam.
Morning, sir.
And, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I just called this morning to applaud the Nigerian police. Listen to the young CP. Look at the way the young man talk. In fact, I'm proud to be Nigerian this morning. Why? Because if Nigerian citizens see if our police working like this? Why can't we have information at hand and distribute it to police that will know that when you see something, for you to say something, you are safe. You do get it. Look at what the evil says. There's nothing to investigate on because the thing is glaring that the Nigerian citizens are already posting online. You see. So the position of these guys will be coming. In fact, I'm very, very proud this morning that Nigerian police, look at that guy, very young and very intelligent. God bless Nigerian police. I'm very happy. Good morning.
Yes, thank you very much. It doesn't take much to please
Yes.
us.
It doesn't take much to impress us. Just respect yourself. Said, when you see the system there, the system respects itself. You will not even offer them a bribe because of the way they carry themselves. And I won't see this man and disrespect him.
At all.
I will not. I might be older, I might be richer, but he has carried himself with so much respect that I will be forced to just conform.
Respect his uniform.
So I think that it is, we need to let this cascade down and see more of this, and please let it go viral.
Fantastic. Amazing. Fantastic. If I see a man like that, I won't disrespect him. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're right. You're right. Okay, that's all we can take on this. When we come back, move on to another topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anikulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger,
Take it.
today we'll go here.
Hey, I don't read you.
Are you sure?
I'm not here to answer questions, I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said 75. Fellas wasn't even born till 75.
So will I drink half?
You go drink. Take. Make I help you. Russian.
No be half.
Which half? You will make me drink. I'll give you a hint.
Lights in no. Nepa Road. Nepa Road in Abeokuta.
First of all, my brain cannot memorize everything.
A big black bug.
A big black dog.
Bug. A big black bug.
Oh, sorry. A big.
It don't start.
Ọmọ fẹlá. Ọmọ Aníkúlápó Kútì. Wọ́n rò pé kí ni kékeré yìí.
It's by Audison. It's not by Audison.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Thanks for staying with us. Another hot topic is the situation of Senator Ekweremadu, who has currently been convicted in the United Kingdom at the Old Bailey hearing, where he and his wife, 60 years, his wife 56, Beatrice, and Dr. Obina Obeta were convicted of conspiring to exploit a man for his kidney. According to them, they are taking a street trader from Lagos, 25-year-old, for their daughter, 25-year-old Sonia, to provide kidney transplants for worth about £80,000 in the private transplant hospital in Royal Free Hospital in London. According to the prosecution, they offered £7,000 and promised opportunities in the UK for that young man who was a street trader in Lagos State. And we've seen the case, and it's quite painful to see that a respected member of the National Assembly could have undergone such case and has now been convicted. This is not a time to, it's actually a time of, it's a painful reflection, I would say. And it's quite interesting for us to discuss our thoughts on this. Many have applauded the UK system, others have condemned the fact that Nigeria couldn't do much to help their citizen. What are your own general thoughts? I mean, this is just a few minutes to the end of the show, but it's important for us to hear your thoughts on this conviction. He's facing about 10 years, I believe, or some have said 25 years, but I'll get the exact figure in a moment. Someone says he's going to be faced with 10 years imprisonment in the United Kingdom, he and his wife and the doctor. The doctors also were saying that they treated the man as mere body parts, that he was not treated as a human being. The part of the confession of the doctor was saying that the young boy was referred to as just like a mere body part to be used. And the UK has tried to have their modern slavery laws. This has been tried on. I think I was told also that this is one of the first cases they've tried under the modern case law in the UK, and they were willing to just use it as an experiment, as a reference for going forward to stop modern slavery that has been rampant across the country. What are your thoughts on this conviction? Especially, this is one of our own. This is one of our citizens. This is a respected member of the Senate, and somebody who that many Nigerians would have thought would never be caught in this kind of things. I've heard different versions, the spiritual version, the technical version, the karma version, all sorts of versions on social media. People have come up with all sorts of stories. But it's important for us to reflect on this situation, hear your thoughts on it. Call us on the numbers on your screen, 08127053687, 09139076948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Who would like to go first? Your thoughts on what happened?
So, for me, there are many sides to this story, and our heart definitely, my heart goes out to Sonia, his daughter that would be free, alive, and knowing that her health condition led to the desperation that brought the parents into this place. What the Ekweremadus did, which is in the UK context, is called human trafficking and organ harvesting, is something that several Nigerians have done. Some I know, where people, they offer the opportunity to donate your kidney if you're a match and get paid. And people do this. It's part of our system thing, things that you can do in Nigeria and get away with, and then you do the same thing in another country, and it's a total crime. And I'm happy that the system works there. I'm wondering what lesson can we learn here, because we would definitely always need to do kidney transplants. It's something that would always happen. It's that, can we create a system where doing things that we do here will not become something that will become a crime somewhere else? Because what the Ekweremadus have done is as a parent, try to find a solution for their daughter's problem, which was a health challenge. And they've explored several options, and they explored one of the options that now happened to be a crime in the community where they're trying to do it.
He approached that boy without telling him what he was going to do, then it's also probably a crime also in Nigeria. But many have said that abroad, there is a waiting list. Usually when people are dying, they say, please donate my kidney, donate my heart to the medical science to be able to use it. So When that happens, it's gone through a normal process, and then there's a waiting list that could be years
before you get
to your turn. So he didn't want to go through that process. So as a Nigerian who feels that this guy here, I can get somebody, I can pay them £10,000 or £7,000 and change their life forever in exchange for my daughter's life. Now, men who have said, it's not a big deal here, because that boy could have used the £7,000 in Nigeria to change his life. But if he did it without informing that boy did not really know before going to the US, that's where I think was the problem. What are your thoughts on this?
I just want to, for me, I would like to ask the question, in Nigeria, is it a crime to reach out to someone and ask them for their body part and you would pay them if taking this body part is not going to cost them their lives? Is this something that we do in Nigeria? Is this does our constitution acknowledge that it's okay to pay for a living person's body part? I'm not sure about what. Yes, I don't know about that. And secondly, because of the caliber of the Ekweremadus, I just feel that, and then the doctor also that was supposed to be doing this, I feel like they would have put into consideration the laws of the land, in the UK. They would have been aware of what the laws are concerning doing something like that. And if they were not, there's a possibility, you just think you do, you just assume something. So there's a possibility. So it's one thing, were they aware that this was a crime in the UK? Secondly, if they were aware, did they try to, shortchange, and go around the system? And that is a crime if they know that. See, in the UK, you can give your body part if it's done altruistically. You're not asking for money. Nobody's offering you any money. You just say, I would give, whether you're a family member or not, I'm willing to do this. But if it involves giving money, then that is where they have a problem. So if the Ekweremadus were aware, that means they were aware they were committing a crime.
So the Modern Slavery Act of 2015 in the UK, Chapter 30 of the MSC, criminalizes a range of offenses. Let me tell you the one that led to this. It says in Section 1, slavery, servitude, and forced or compulsory labor are criminalized, while Section 2 focuses specifically on human trafficking. So the human trafficking part of that law says a person commits an offense if the person arranges or facilitates the travel of another person with the view to being exploited. According to that, it's irrelevant whether the victim is an adult or a child, and also inconsequential whether the consent was given or not. So even though he has signed a letter saying, Oga, you are taking my victim, given or not, this they are modern day slavery. So even though there was a letter of consent, it wouldn't have been accepted. As long as you came to this country specifically for that reason, it's a crime.
So, Mariah, you see why we have to develop our country, develop all the facets of our country, the healthcare system, the educational system, because the truth of the matter is the world is moving and we should be allowed to move at our pace. What is crime in another man's country may not be crime yet in your country, and then you go with your own culture and your ways to another man's country, you can get into trouble. This is what is just showing us right now. So we must, if you have to do something in another man's country, you must learn their ways so that you do it right without getting into trouble. If he had done this thing here, there are hospitals here that he could use. There are doctors here that could work for him. The way you talk to somebody, oh yeah, I need this help, let's test it, let's do it, and it's not a crime in our constitution here, he wouldn't have been in this problem. But because we have a system where the things from the outside is sweeting us, it sweets us more than the things we have within. So everybody focuses their attention. I want the best medical care. I want the best education. I want the best this. And we can't get it here. We get it outside the country. The leaders who are supposed to be putting laws in place, making sure that they develop their own place so that we can keep our resources within. We move it outside. And then it hooks them. During the time of COVID-19, we saw how many big people died because they could not access medical care here. Their own records were not here. They didn't have the equipment to access whatever they needed here, and they lost their lives. So a lesson for me now is Nigeria, wake up and develop your place. We will grow at our pace. We understand ourselves. We know how we use them. Sisters, family members, extended family to help one another. We are still we're still a community here. We will grow, and we may not even grow.
Slavery.
We may not even grow to where they are. We may grow differently, and it's okay, but we must begin to look inwards.
Let me take Tunde from Magodo. Good morning, Tunde. Are you there?
Hello, good morning. Yeah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, good morning, Morayo.
Good morning.
It's just a very sad case for Ekweremadu. You know, I pity the daughter. But I think it's the law of the karma. Because this man has been in the Senate for 20 years. He has been the Deputy Senate President for 4 years. Chief of Staff for Imo State for some years before he became a senator. And he can't build a well-equipped hospital in his state or even in his village. And the way I had to question is that everybody has been doing it, that maybe it's just those. One day is for the chief. Sorry, every day is for the chief, one day is for the owner. But there's still about.
Well, Pastor Paul Okoye, I think, he's not a pastor, doctor. He's been on our show. Is it Peter Okoye? I think that he has a hospital in Imo State that probably could have actually done this kind of surgery. But let me talk about.
Ask us that. Is this something don't we see anything wrong in offering people money for their body parts? Doesn't it open are we not afraid of what this may lead or some of the things that it can cause if you know that all I have to do is offer somebody money and then I can get their body parts? For me, I feel the stance of the UK is the best way.
Yeah.
I don't want, this is Nigeria, we have widespread poverty. And I'm afraid that vulnerable people will be taken advantage of if this is something we think is okay to do. Or if I give him £7,000, it will do a lot for the family. Do I want my 18-year-old, 21-year-old to sell his kidney because I want him to get £7,000, £10,000 to take care of the family?
But these are countries where people sell their children.
I know, I'm saying, yes, I understand. I understand. But I'm saying that as a decent society and constitutionally, is this is this something we want to make law? Is this something we want to accept?
I think
something we should frown upon.
It's a valid question. However, going by the pace that we are in, where we are as a nation, we've talked about surrogacy, for example.
Yeah.
I can call Tokwe, I want you to have children for me, between you and I. But you see, we need to create laws to protect me and protect you.
Yes.
So, though I can call you as a side, have fun and help me give birth to children, what the Nigerian law as of today can do is help ensure that even if you're going to give me your kidney, there's a law where I say, okay, this is the process. You sign, I sign. There's something to back it up.
It will not hurt me in future.
Yeah, so maybe that's where we are. I'm not saying that's the right thing, but it's possible that's where we are right now. That as we begin to evolve, then they cannot criminalize it. But when Nigeria is, maybe we can do exactly as the UK is doing as we choose to. But we should go at our own pace. Yeah.
Ideally, what Mariam said, what the UK is practicing, ideally, that is what it should be. No human being should, out of hunger for food, have an option to sell their kidney because they want to eat or they want to feed their family. And some people are doing that. I know someone who did, like 15 years ago, sold kidney, they used the money to buy trailer, buy something. I'm like wondering, we didn't know, we just know he traveled to India and came back and there was a scar on his body. So people are doing this and that shouldn't be an option. The government, the leaders should create a system which sadly, Ekweremadu was in a position where laws could have been made to ensure that this thing becomes easy for people to access. People should say, I want to donate freely. So, but if that doesn't happen, and our system is already giving people money, while people are selling their daughters, they will look for the youngest daughter to say, okay, you can go and be awaiting marriage so that they will be taking care of our family needs. All these areas need to be nipped if we truly want to have a balanced society.
This conversation is different when you have an uncle, because I know somebody very well that he actually needed transplants, and they were looking for uncles, cousins, brothers who matched. Eventually, somebody matched, where it was a family conversation where it went smoothly. But I'm saying that where it doesn't go smoothly, where the person dies in the process, where something happens, the law protects. So we're not there in the UK where I say, totally go and stay in the queue. We're not there yet. We should have a law where even though your sister says, I will give you my heart, let your sister sign. Say, okay, when I die, let it be something documented that is legally backed, where the lawyers are seated and everybody agrees.
I'm hoping
that you explore all the options.
Do it.
So we do surrogacy, the same thing.
Yeah, so I think we should be allowed to grow at our pace. We are somewhere. We haven't gotten there yet. Though the conversations can be had on how we can better protect ourselves, we've seen people who donated for free. I just like you. I don't want you to die. And I ask myself, what am I doing with two? Let me give you one. And it goes away like that. The Constitution can now start creating those laws to help us to protect
Yes,
either one
change
of
your
us.
mind.
In case you change your mind or you die in the process. You know the way when you want to commit suicide and you're not successful. Your body belongs to the state, right? Our body should belong to the state. If you want to sell any part of your body, you should be prosecuted, except you go through it the right way. That should be what, eventually we'll start. No, it's a conversation we should start having to protect a lot more people. Because people now have had young boys now selling body parts because they want to make money.
Thank God you and I are not on that sick bed. And thank God we've never been that sick. I have known people who have been deadly sick.
Yeah. That's why
loved
our
ones
hearts went out
to the point where they have nothing. And they have a cousin who is willing to say, uncle, I will give you my kidney. Because this uncle is one I've been feeding the whole family. Whatever.
Which is acceptable. That is acceptable. That I'm willing to do this for my uncle.
Yes.
But if we start to legalize buying of body parts, the kind of ones that Nigerians will be dealing with, no, we do it, but we're doing it illegally. But if we legalize it, it will be horrible. I'm afraid of the widespread buying and selling that will be going on of a young person who will make a moment's decision and in 5 years regret that decision that they have made.
So let me just say this. There's another thing that why there's a reason for a list is because when people die, people donate organs. In Nigeria, when people die, they don't want to open the body. So maybe we create a system that rewards people for when you die, donate your organ. Or we say anybody that dies and the organ is in good condition, the organ belongs to the state. The state can harvest it.
You can sign it before you die.
Ordinary in Lagos State, they're begging me to come and bring blood. Nigerians are not coming to bring blood.
Yes.
They're not used to it. So we're not there yet. Abroad, if something happens to you, we know you get blood.
But we're not there yet. We're not having those conversations. Every day we're discussing cheating husband, cheating wife. Discussing this sort of thing.
That is all we can take on this Monday morning show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.